Okay, so you want to learn about false attraction? Yeah, yeah, okay, we'll roll the intro. Hey guys, okay, what I'm going to do today is talk about false attraction, okay? I haven't spoken about this for quite some time, and to be honest with you, I don't really feel ready to do another video, but I think I'm going to do it anyway because one thing I found out in life is that we're never going to be ready for many things, so we just got to take action anyway. And I think that's one of the most important takeaways you can take from this video, is to act in spite of not feeling ready. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to timestamp this video, so if you care to check underneath the video, and you can skip back and forth and skip to the parts that you want to listen to, because I can't be bothered with all these jump cuts, okay? And oh, by the way, guys, do me a big favor. Do you know, if I ever have pink and purple backgrounds like they do on YouTube, you know, all these people, they have all these multicolored lights in the background, I want you to shoot me on general principle if I ever do that, okay? So anyway, let's get down to the video. So why don't we just start off with a basic question, all right? And if I make mistakes, I make mistakes. So be it. I'm just going to do the best that I can for you guys, all right? So false attraction is basically OCD generated, okay? Now, don't make the mistake of thinking that only HOCD people have false attraction. It happens in other areas of OCD. For example, you can have a sister that thinks that she may be attracted to a brother. You know, she'll have that false attraction. She might have groinal responses, etc. You could have a brother that can, you know, the same way with the sister, with a parent, whatever. You get people who have POCD, who have groinal responses or false attraction towards children, and they become very panicked. So it's not just you HOCD guys, okay? I mean, you got to look at the bigger picture, right? Most people get hypnotized by their themes, right? It's like wearing a virtual reality headset. You know, OCD likes to keep you occupied with the content, and the content really is irrelevant, okay? It's all under the umbrella of obsessive compulsive disorder. So you can get somebody with HOCD who has been gay all their lives, then all of a sudden they get false attraction towards a woman. You know, they could see a woman at a party or something, and a thought could come in, she's attractive. Then all of a sudden they go down this rabbit hole of questioning themselves, and of course the false attraction comes into it, and whatever, all right? And I'm also going to talk about in this video false attraction with and without anxiety, okay? Yes, or you get a regular person who's straight, he's liked women all his life. Historically, he's always liked women. Now all of a sudden he's getting false attraction to somebody perhaps that he's grown up with, that he's never ever had any type of attraction to before, and you've seen that person thousands of times. Then all of a sudden he'll get an attraction, you know, in inverted commas, towards that person, okay? Just checking to see if this microphone's on. Okay, so what I've done is I'm prone to forget to put things into videos. So I'm just going to say a few things here. All right, false attraction. Okay, let's get into it. Now, I'd heard this on the internet somewhere. I think it may have been Dr. Patrick McGrath from HOCD. And with HOCD, you can download the app and you can speak to a professional if you're in the US, Canada, Australia, and UK. Okay? I think it may have been him. Or it was somebody anyway that said, this is what's going on, all right? The reason why you get false attraction is because OCD is saying to you, don't you be attracted to that person of the same sex. Don't you dare. Don't you dare be attracted to somebody of the same sex. And what happens? In my words, that neurotic demand that you have internally is then activating the part of the brain that's going to do that very thing. It's activating the part of the brain that's going to do that very thing. My words, okay? And, you know, it's like, for example, when you try to force yourself to go to sleep. You're using conscious willpower to try and put yourself to sleep. I got to get up in the morning, I got to be ready for whatever. What happens is the brain fights against you because the brain doesn't like being told what to do. When, you know, my words, when it's conscious willpower interfering with an unconscious process, then it'll always work against you. Okay? So when you are telling yourself, I mustn't be attracted, you might not even be telling yourself on a conscious level. It might all be more sort of subliminal, unconscious. But when you have this rigid demand that you are not to be attracted to the same sex, then those feelings will become generated. It's almost like being a kid. Do you remember being a kid and your parents accused you of doing something that you didn't do? And the more they accuse you, and the more you try not to feel guilty because you didn't do anything, the more you try not to feel guilty, the more you'll feel guilty. Do you see where I'm going with this? When willpower interferes with an unconscious process, the unconscious process will always work against you. Like if you misplace a set of keys and you try hard to remember where those keys are, and the more you try, the more it will evade you. It will elude you. So this is something that you really need to take into consideration. OCD is dictating. Don't you get a groinal response? Don't you get an attraction towards a certain individual, whatever? And it will generate those feelings. And that then will send you down, you know, this rabbit hole of analysis, trying to figure out what's going on, because historically you've never had that happen to you before. You've always been attracted to the opposite sex or whatever. Now this is happening and it's thrown everything into disarray. Okay? So in the book, what's it called? Overcoming Unwanted Intrusive Thoughts. Now there's a book that you should buy, okay? And I'm also in the middle of reading Stopping the Noise in Your Head by Reed Wilson. Oh my word. It's a book on anxiety. There is a chapter there about OCD. But what a tremendous book. But anyway, in Overcoming Unwanted Intrusive Thoughts, the authors say something about anxious thinking. Okay? So anxious thinking causes an altered state of awareness. Okay? So what happens is the line between fact and fantasy becomes blurred. They also call it thought-action fusion, cognitive fusion, thought-action fusion. So that, you know, you think that thinking a thought is as good as actually committing the crime. And of course, this can translate over into urges and stuff like that. So that's a really good book, but they say it's a product of anxious thinking. And the thing is, different people say different things. Okay? But, you know, a lot of people say, all right, well, what's the difference between real attraction and false attraction? Well, I didn't make this video to reassure anybody. I made this video to, you know, I'm going to put a few things in this video, but it's to explain what it is, to help you get over it, and to talk about with and without anxiety. But I would say, by the by, please do not use this for reassurance. But with real attraction, there comes good feelings. When you feel attraction towards somebody, it's accompanied by positive, good feelings. Okay? With false attraction, it's immediately accompanied by what's going on here? Negative feelings, fear, anxiety, stress, questioning, rumination, all the rest of it. Okay? You know, with real attraction, if we are really attracted to somebody, we don't go on Google and Google, why am I attracted to Jennifer Aniston? Or why am I attracted to, you know, whoever? I just am. But it's accompanied by good feelings. With false attraction, it's always accompanied by negative feelings and compulsions. Googling, why do I feel this way, etc., etc. What if, accompanied by yeah, but, you know. So, let's see what else that I've written down here. Yeah, you know, anxious thinking. The authors talk about anxious thinking and, of course, impulses. Right, let's talk about impulses for a second, right? Broaden your mind a little bit for a second, and let's look at somebody with harm OCD, right? They're at the train station. They'll have a thought about pushing somebody in front of the train track. Some people might actually feel an urge to do it, and they become very scared, and they start Googling and researching and looking for reassurance and doing all the telltale signs that it's OCD. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to know what the telltale signs of OCD are. All the compulsions, right? Checking, mental checking, reassurance seeking, thought suppression, blah, 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 blah. On and on it goes, right? So you'll have somebody that will have an urge to push somebody in front of a train track. Or they'll have an urge to push somebody down an elevator, or in front of a car, or to chop somebody's finger off with a knife. They'll have this urge. What about married women who have got a newborn baby and they have an urge to stab their baby? What do you think they got to go through? You think you got it bad? No. Be a woman with a baby. Then you'll understand, you know, what real suffering is. Okay? Not that I'm saying you're not suffering. You're suffering a lot. But what I'm trying to illustrate is these are impulses caused by OCD. And in the case of HOCD, those impulses are, you know, the false attraction, the groinal response, the urge to kiss somebody, or the urge to grab somebody's butt, or, you know, that generated feeling. Now, you know, am I telling you that you're not gay? That you are gay, you're not gay, you are gay, you're not gay. I'm not telling you anything, because it is possible to have OCD and to be the very thing that you fear. But historically, if you've never given this any thought before, then I would say that it's false attraction, and you can actually do something about it. It's treatable. Okay? And while I'm on the subject about reassurance, can I just say something? There's been OCD people who like to They like reassurance, okay? Which is bad, of course. But then they'll discover that you're not supposed to reassure yourself. And what they do, they become very OCD about no reassurance. No reassurance. You're reassuring people. You shouldn't reassure people. They become very OCD about it. The black and white has transferred from one thing to this. Okay? And I think sometimes it's not good to give reassurance, but sometimes how do you explain things? How do you explain things without inadvertently or subliminally reassuring somebody? You know, so if I come across as a little reassuring in this video, it's not meant to reassure you. I'm just trying to explain things, okay? Like when I said the difference between real attraction and false attraction. You know, one is accompanied by good feelings, the other one isn't, okay? And there'll be people that will say, because there's always somebody with a question. It doesn't matter what I write, what I say, what I do, there's always somebody with a question. And somebody will say something like, oh, well, what about gays then who eventually come out as gay? They had negative feelings, but they turned out as gay. Maybe they did, but they didn't have compulsions. And this is what you got to look at. You got to look at, am I doing compulsions or not? And very often we are doing compulsions and we don't even realize we're doing it. They've sneaky, underhanded compulsions that sometimes you've been doing for years. And they've been ingrained so much into the way you are, you don't even know that you're doing them. So, right, let's have a look. I've covered what is false attraction. I've covered your OCD saying to you, you know, don't you get an erection, don't you get attracted, blah, 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 which then causes you to feel that way. I've covered overcoming unwanted intrusive thoughts, real attraction, false attraction. Yeah, there's another thing I want to talk about, is that people obviously get anxious feelings, you know, which can cause, you know, the false attraction, you know, the anxious state of arousal, altered state, etc. But obviously the false attraction causes anxiety too, right? And people will ruminate and ruminate and ruminate, and rumination in itself, although there's something satisfying about it to try and figure something out, rumination without a plan, worry without a plan is useless. It's self-torture. But rumination causes more anxiety, right? So, you know, people will say, well, all right, Jesse, why am I getting false attraction, but I don't have any anxiety? And you go on the internet and different people will say different things. Different therapists will say different things. And they all think they're right. I don't know, but I can give you my best guess as to why you don't get anxiety. And my guess is that you have partially habituated to it, okay? If you were walking through a rough neighborhood and there was a bully there, and this bully was always looking in his window, always in his window, and there are people like that in life, and they're always looking in the window. And you're terrified of this bully, but you have to travel through the neighborhood because you have to get to school or to work or whatever. You got no choice. You have to walk through. So after the first 30 times of walking through, the fear stops. And then you think, why am I not afraid? The bully's in his window. He could come out any second. Why am I not afraid? Why am I not afraid? You've got used to it, is what I'm trying to say, right? That might be a bad example, but you get the drift, yeah? You have got used to having groinals because it's happened so many times. Just the same as thoughts. They call it a backdoor spike. When people have a thought, an intrusive thought, not groinals or anything, just a thought. They'll have the thought, what if I'm gay? What if I'm gay? What if I'm gay? And after a period of time, they are no longer worried. And then they become worried because they're not worried. They become anxious because they're not anxious. And OCD isn't just about thoughts. It's about images. It's about urges, impulses, whatever. Different manifestations of it. So this is no different. If you've got used to it, you're not going to feel anxiety. And there's another thing I was thinking about earlier on too. A buddy of mine, Billy, I haven't spoken to him for a while, but he had a lot of this stuff. Groinals, false attraction, and so forth. And he had stopped having anxiety. But I can remember asking him what was going on internally with him, And he said, well, what I used to do, I used to self-assure. I was always assuring myself. I was always saying, well, I know I'm straight. I've always been straight. And straight. That's all he was telling himself. And I think that probably started to ease the anxiety, but in turn, a different set of anxiety coming through the back door. Why aren't you anxious anymore? Why aren't you afraid anymore? Why aren't you worried anymore? There's a guy over there and I feel this attraction to him and I'm not worried about it. So I'm worried because I'm not worried. Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, in a nutshell, is what I'm saying is it's normal. If you don't have anxiety with intrusive thoughts or feelings or images or urges or whatever, it's normal. It happens. But what happens is, and check this out. When you have anxiety, you're trying to figure it out and trying to figure it out and trying to figure it out. Okay? And then when you don't have anxiety, you're trying to figure out why you don't have anxiety. Why don't I have anxiety? Why don't I have anxiety? Trying to figure it out. I'm not Sherlock Holmes here. But can you see a pattern? When you have anxiety, you're trying to figure it out. When you don't have anxiety, you're trying to figure it out. So you're always trying to figure stuff out. That, my friends, is rumination. Rumination keeps the whole disorder going because the whole idea is to live with uncertainty. And you can't worry and ruminate and live with uncertainty at the same time. And you need to live with uncertainty in order to beat the disorder. Stop looking for the answer. Okay, so people are going to say, okay, Jesse, whether we're anxious or whether we're not anxious, we still having false attraction. What do we do? Okay, here's the juicy stuff. Right? And let me just lift up my sheet to make sure I'm not missing anything. Right. With false attraction, let me explain something. One of the biggest things in OCD, or any anxiety disorders for that matter, is avoidance. Avoidance is your enemy. Okay? Let me repeat that. In fact, I'm going to repeat it 3 more times because I want you to get the memo. Okay? And I'm going to put it on screen as well. Okay? Avoidance is your enemy. Once. Twice. Avoidance is your enemy. All right? Sink it in. 3 times. Avoidance is your enemy. It pretends to be your friend, but it's not. Just like alcohol with addicts, alcohol pretends to be the addict's friend. I'm reliable. You can drink me. I'll make you feel better. It's not your friend. It's your enemy. And it's a very insidious one. I know I was basically an alcoholic. Okay? Until I kicked it about 15 months ago. So avoidance is the same thing. Pretends to be your friend, but it's a bullshitter. Right? And as long as you're avoiding, the false attractions are going to continue. Because what will happen is then, you know, you won't go out, you'll end up watching TV, and then you'll see somebody on TV that does, you know, that you're attracted to. Okay? Or you're playing a video game and on the video game there'll be somebody that you're attracted to. So you can't escape it. What are you going to do? Stop playing video games? What are you going to do? Stop watching TV? So you need to deal with it. And this is the thing. You do not push anything away, whether it's intrusive thoughts or false attraction or anything. You don't push it away. Okay? Because if you push it away, it's the law of reversed effect. It's paradoxical effort. You'll just make it stronger. Or you'll keep it going. So don't avoid anything. My advice, unsuction the asshole from the sofa, go out the front door and go and live the life that you was living before this disorder happened to you. Okay? Unsuction the asshole from the sofa and go and live the life that you want to live. What is it you want? What is it you want? Think to yourself, what is it you want? Well, I want more friends. Well, I want to go to the shopping mall. I want to go to the gym. I want to go out drinking with my buddies. I want to do this. I want to do that. What is it you want? And keep asking this to yourself. Not what do you think you should do. What do you want? And go and do it. Right? Don't avoid. Okay, so let's take you through it. You're out in the shopping mall. You're in the local pub. You're wherever you are. And there's somebody that you think you're attracted to. Okay, great. Treat it like a video game. You like video games? Treat it like a video game. I'm going to stay in this person's company longer. Right? And what you want to do is give yourself a coping statement to go with it. Right? Don't make this a compulsion, but say to yourself, I can handle this. Because what you're going to do with exposures, and this is my take on things, if you're trying to expose your amygdala, the part of the brain that gives the distress signal, if you're trying to expose your amygdala to a situation, but your cortex, your thinking mind, is saying negative things, you're going to mess it all up. So both the cortex and the amygdala, in my opinion, should be aligned together. So when you go out and you feel false attraction towards somebody, stay in that person's company longer and say to yourself, my anxiety is going to get worse before it gets better, or this is going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to stay in this situation until it settles down a little bit. Okay? And that's scoring points against the disorder. You have now scored a point, because if anxiety can get you to retreat, if OCD can get you to retreat, then it's scored a point against you. It's a game. If you can advance forward despite your reservations, despite your fear, despite your anxiety, you have then scored a point against OCD. So, okay, you're in the company of somebody, false attraction, I'm going to stay here until my anxiety comes down, or until the discomfort comes down, or the unease comes down. I can handle it. I can handle it. It's not about getting rid of feelings. It's about having feelings and thoughts and learning to live with them until they no longer become of any importance. Okay? Okay, so go from there to another person. who you think you may be attracted to. Treat it like a video game. Rack up as many interactions as you can where you feel quote unquote attracted to a person, right? And keep on doing it and keep on doing it and keep on doing it, and eventually you'll come out a winner. You'll score so many points against OCD, that, and with positive self-talk as well. And when you use self-talk, don't allow it to become outcome orientated. Don't say to yourself, because I made this mistake when I got into all the crap I was into years ago. Don't say, nah, I won't be attracted. I won't feel false attraction. Don't worry about it. I'll be okay. Because you don't know that. You don't know that. That's like me saying, oh, well, I'm going to cross the road. I don't know. I won't get hit by a car. I don't know that. What you do, you make the self-talk process orientated, not outcome orientated. You get it? Process orientated. You say, I can handle this. I want this. I want it. Is that all you got, OCD? Give me more. I want more. I want more false attractions. I want more. I'm going on and see that guy over there, that dude, that cool dude over there. OCD, fuck you. I'm going to go and talk to him. Give me more false attractions. Give me more. Give yourself permission to have false attractions. Want it. And the more you do that, the more you be scoring points against OCD and anxiety. Avoidance, just like alcohol or addiction, is your enemy. And that's how you get over it. So just to brush over a few points before I go. This isn't a perfect video by any means, but I'll timestamp it. So false attraction, with or without anxiety, both normal. Both normal, okay? Anxiety always, not just anxiety, but OCD, always wants you to go in pursuit of an answer. Okay? And as long as you're going in pursuit of an answer, it's like when you throw a ball for a dog. It's like anxiety is and OCD is throwing the ball and you're running after the ball. But the thing is, once you start analysing things, you have to realise that you're trying to get intellectual information to an emotional problem. And it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. No answer you will ever give OCD will be satisfactory for OCD. It will it wants you to get answers, but it will never accept any answer that you give it. All right? So, as the authors in the book Overcoming Unwanted Intrusive Thoughts say, anxious thinking, altered state of awareness, the line between fantasy and reality, between thoughts and actions becomes very blurred. Okay, that's something you want to bear in mind. Real attraction, false attraction, real attraction, positive feelings, false attraction accompanied by negative feelings. Because I believe that one of the roots of HOCD is, it's not really the content. I think what it's about is the fear of not being who you thought you were. The fear of not being who you thought you were. Okay? Trying to figure things out, we don't want to do that. Whether you've got anxiety or whether you don't have anxiety, you don't want to figure it out. And how to beat false attraction, yeah, by basically not avoiding. The same goes for TV. If you're watching TV and there's somebody on TV that you think that you're attracted to, then watch it more. Watch it more. And keep on watching it more. You know, and that's basically it. That's basically what you want to do. Put yourself in field. Score points against OCD, saying, I want this. I want it. I want the false attraction. Come on, OCD. Come on, you motherfucker. I want more false attraction. I want more groinal responses. I want more urges to touch somebody's butt. Give it to me. That's what you want to do. Move into it, not away from it. You move back, you retreat, and OCD has taken your territory. When you advance forward, you are taking your territory back. And I'll just end on this. How many wars or fights, you know, urban fights, whatever, has happened because somebody is trying to take somebody's territory? When they push somebody back and push them back and push them back and push them back. And, you know, like in movies, when somebody takes somebody's livestock and they take their fields and they pushing that person back further and further, what happens? A war breaks out, a fight breaks out, because that person wants their territory back. They want to live. They want to live again. They want their life back. And you should write on your mirror or on your wall or on a piece of paper or on your phone, I want my life back. I want my life back. And go and get your life. What is it you want? Never mind should. What is it you want? And go out and live your life like you lived it before. When you back away, anxiety scores points. When you move forward and tell yourself, I can handle this, you score a point. It's a game. Anyway, I don't know how well I've done in this video, but with or without anxiety, it's perfectly normal. You know, false attraction is a thing. And guys, I just want you to know that I love you all. And I'd be very grateful if you could like and subscribe and share the video. And I'll talk to you soon. And if anybody got any ideas about what they'd like me to do, if I got the time, I'll do my best to do it. Anyway, take care, guys. Bye for now.